There we are. Can you hear me all right? We're good. Great. Okay, welcome everybody to the 11, it is 11 a.m., 11:01, right, let's get cracking. I'm Lyndsey Taylor. I'm talking about London venues in this session. I am Park Lane Events. I am a venue finder. Hang on, let's just wait. Announcement. Oh, I didn't even hear what they were saying there, just in case you're all missing something important. So I'm Lyndsey Taylor from Park Lane Events. I am a venue finder, so this is what I'm doing all the time, full time. My niche is actually London venues, so this is packed full of London venues. I do talk quite fast. Feel free to take lots of pictures because of that, because I've got a lot of slides to go through. I like to go to sessions where there's loads of information, and then I can take pictures, and then I can digest some of that afterwards, or obviously contact the speaker afterwards. So there's my details if any of you want to contact me about anything afterwards. I do have contacts with all the venues that I talk about, so of course if that's something that you're looking for, then again, just email me afterwards. And also, any feedback from the session, feel free to email afterwards. I did do these sessions last year, and they asked me back. So hopefully something went right. And if they ask me back next year, it will be nice to hear any feedback of how to make it better or different, and just that we all get the most out of our time. So we've got half an hour, lots of venues to go through. So first of all, this is what we're going to do, keeping up to date with the latest London hotels and venues. My first-hand reviews of some newly open hotels that I visited, and then exciting plans for 2025 openings. So if any of you are at the wrong session, now's your time to leave, otherwise I shall carry on. Now, ASM Global are the sponsors of the stand, so I'd like to give a shout out for them. They've got a little stand over there, and they do have a bigger stand on the exhibition floor as well. It's quite timely. They have got a very exciting project in London. So they've got the Olympia Hotel, Olympia London, the exhibition centre, massive redevelopment they're doing there. Feel free to take some shots. They've also got a couple outside of London as well, but just wanted to give them a little shout out because they are the sponsors of this stand. Everybody right with the pictures? A few pictures over this side. Okay. So straight into it and talking about London venues, things that are changing at the moment. So there's lots of redevelopments. There's some people buying and selling at the moment. So the Bowtree, for example, last year when that opened, it's only been open a year, and that cost them £375 million to open, and now it's for sale for £270 million. So I think that's just a sign of the times at the moment, with which hotels are making money, which ones perhaps not so, which styles of venues are working, which strategies are working. So when some are buying and selling, I do sort of think, well, why is that? What were they doing? And what is that going to happen? What's going to happen with that next as well? You've got a brand new ship that's opened in London, the HMS Wellington. You can do dinner on there for 120, 180 drinks reception on the deck, and they've got smaller rooms within that as well. So they can do conferences, and as well as obviously the dinners. So that is now open. And they have a very small team there. So I like to give shout outs to sort of the little independents, the ones that don't have massive budgets for their sales teams, because that's how you find those little niches, and then your boss goes, wow, where did you find about that? That's brilliant. Cam and Hooper, does anybody know the Cam and Hooper brand in London? They've got a few venues, couple of nods. So I like the Cam and Hooper brand because, again, it's a small group of properties. They have Victoria Bath House, they have Banking House, they have the Oxo Tower, there's a floor there. So they've got some quite quirky, interesting venues, and they're going to open another one. They're actually got some outside of London as well, but they're going to open another one. They're a really growing brand of sort of quite high quality, high 4-star brand, if you want to put it in a star rating. That's the thing with venues, they obviously don't have star ratings. So I try, when I see them, I'm like, I'd pop that as a 4-star, I'd pop that as a 5-star. So that's opening next year, so that's one to look out for there. Then you've got the Marylebone Hotel that's being taken over as a Voco. Again, it's just a small independent, if you're booking lots of bedrooms, really good location, and that's going to be taken over by Voco next year. So then coming on to some perhaps sort of higher end venues, the Park Hyatt London River Thames. So I'm going to see that next week actually. They did do all hard hats. I don't tend to go to hard hat tours. I've done pre-opening. So I've come from hotel side actually before I set up. I set up the business 10 years ago as a venue finder, and before that I used to work in hotels, and I've done a couple of hotel openings. So much can change from the hard hat tour to when it actually opens. And I actually recommend to my venue finding clients, don't try a new property in the first 3 to 6 months at least. Let other people do that, let them go through the teething problems, and then let the teams get it right, so that then when you go at least 6, 9, 12 months after it's opened, hopefully they're fully staffed, they're more experienced, and they've just done some of the seasons already. So I wait till hotels open, and then I can see the finished product. I've only had to do one visit. I haven't done numerous visits beforehand. None of us have the time to do that. Then I can feed back to the client, my clients. I've then taken lots of pictures, and as you can see, just a snapshot of the facilities that it's got there. This is one of the function rooms, so overlooking the Thames, as you can see. Then you've got Artitel, they're London Hoxton. It's quite a growing brand at the moment, Artitel. They've got one at Battersea as well. That's quite a beautiful venue. It's very lifestyle sort of product. Lifestyle's very in at the moment, isn't it? With like the wood and shelves everywhere and the plants and co-working, that kind of thing. Lots of natural daylight there as well. Let me get it right. On the restaurants, one of the ones is on the 25th floor. You can hire that privately, and their function rooms, as you can see here, 10 flexible rooms on the 24th floor, and you can hire all of those out. The rates vary. I'm going to throw a £10,000 out there because that is what I was quoted the other day, but it depends, as they all do, on when you want to book, if it's a Monday or if it's a Thursday, and time of year and everything as well. And then you've got this little gem, Cambridge House Aubergé Resorts Collection. So that used to be a private members club, and they're kind of going to open 102 bedroom hotel, 9 members only club rooms. So they're keeping a little bit of a theme of the private members club. And I like it when hotels do that, because when you get private members club, they make an effort to get to know the people that they're members, obviously, and of course that natural personality comes out through the guests that are coming just for the day, just for the night. So you normally have quite good, strong teams with properties like that as well. So yeah, opening next year. And then I've just put a couple of good resources here, because this is a good tool to use, Unique Venues of London. I don't know if everybody knows, or does anybody know of Unique Venues of London? Yes, of course. So there we have a good selection of over 70 venues. So you can just Google Unique Venues of London. This is what it looks like. You can literally scan all of these properties. You email them and they put it out. You email your inquiry to this one email address. They will put that out to the relevant venues. You then get individual replies back from those hotels. So that's their method and how they do it. You get some beautiful venues there. So of course, any that are opening, when they've already got 70, you know you're going to get up to date with the refurbishments, any that are closing or opening as well. Similarly, you've got the Westminster venue collection. Now, this is just in Westminster. So I love how it does what it says on the tin. Over 50 venues there. Now, they had a new sort of, what you call a committee chairman person, Paul Martins, who works at one of the venues. He has really, I think he's grown it to over 50% for what it was last year. And they've got this amazing website where you can't see it on here very well, but here you put in what kind of venue you're looking for, and you've got little conferences, meetings, weddings. So you can actually filter your search on that website if you wanted a particular property around the Westminster area. And because that's done by location, you get quite a range of modern as well as the traditional venues as well, of all the different sizes, and that's where that filter is in place there. So I have contacts obviously at all of these, so these are great tools that obviously I use as well. Now let's go into individual properties. The Peninsula opened last year. This year, where are we? And that's off Hyde Park Corner. Absolutely beautiful, 5-star property. You've got on one of their higher up floors, let's say the 8th floor, I can't remember which floor now, you've got the restaurants overlooking Hyde Park Corner, floor-to-ceiling windows. You go up their lift and it's like a hot air balloon. So the hot air balloon basket, that's kind of all around. You go in the lift and it's that basket kind of all around the side. And when you're in a hot air balloon, that's how the decor is. is. And it lifts you up because you're in a lift. So little things like that, that's quite quirky, it's quite fun. They've got a variety of restaurants there that you can hire out as well, and that's probably where you'd use this for your smaller to medium-sized events, for some of their hiring out some of their restaurants. You have got a lovely little cinema here, I think that's about 15 people, so you can do your presentations, senior boardroom, senior board meetings there with quite a luxury area. The big function room, as it says there, can do up to 1,200. They have got a big foyer area as well. So that's it. Then you've got Raffles. Raffles is now open as well. So that was the old war rooms there. A lot of history there, got a lot of Churchill history. Again, another 5-star property. Great location. You've got the capacities up there as well. Again, with their restaurants, you can hire them at, they've got about 5 different, or 9 restaurants. Maybe I should read what I've written. We've got 9 restaurants, 3 bars, and a lot of those restaurants you can hire out independently, as well as their big function space as well. So this is their larger function space here. Again, they've got a big foyer area, no natural daylight in there, and that's still quite the thing with these big event spaces. It's quite tricky getting natural daylight with such big event spaces, but at least when it's an older space, you've got the decor. That's not quite the priority anyway when you've got such a fabulous venue. Then we have, going to the lifestyle brand, Uncommon. I love Uncommon because they are a bit of a, not everybody really knows about them. They are small, boutique, they're like co-working venues, so they have people coming in to co-work. You can be a member, you don't have to be a member. They're all around London, so you probably can't read this. So Liverpool Street, Borough, Fulham, Highbury and Holborn, and they all have this style. This one is Liverpool Street. So this is like a little auditorium here, so you can just hire this out for 50 people. It's got a massive screen. Around the corner is this big table. You can have drinks, receptions, all the way around here, and upstairs is this secret terrace, and I love a venue in the middle of London that has a terrace, and especially if you've got your indoor area in case it's raining as well. So that's Uncommon there. The Orangery at Kensington Palace. I think this took about 7 years to restore. It is a beautiful venue. Obviously, you've got the historic tie here as well. You've got the specifications here. You can see lots of natural daylight, great for drinks, receptions, private dinners, very popular actually. Drink receptions up to 300, dinner up to 200, so a really nice size there, and they obviously have their caterers there. Then this is a little one, so you've got the Great Scotland Yard Hotel. That's not what I'm talking about. Next to it, as part of that company, you have this mansion house. So you have your own front door here, and you can hire the whole property. So you've got bedrooms and your en-suites there as well. So you've got about 4 or 5 bedrooms. And then you have this area here, so you can have your meeting here. So again, for your senior leadership teams, you can have that whole property, and you've got all the floor plans, so you can move all the furniture, and the team are quite flexible with what you can do there. So little gems like that I like. Then you've got, so Cavendish venues, they have quite a few properties around London, very conference orientated. I would put them in the 4-star market, definitely. This is just opened, great location near Bank. As you can see, 5 meeting rooms, very flexible how you can use some or all of their meeting space as well. So you don't obviously have to hire all of them, but there is a great flow with the way that for those larger meetings, or if you need more spaces for breakouts, you've got plenty of flexibility there. They're normally pretty good with their rates at Cavendish as well, and they obviously have other properties. Some are slightly older, so you've got a mixture there. Now this is another little one that probably most people don't know about, called The Corner in London City. So Aldgate East is the nearest tube station there. The greenest hotel in London. Now that's quite a statement, isn't it? I love that when people can put things like that, because they honestly have done all the tick boxes and everything that they need to do to make sure that they can have that statement. So I thought I'd put a couple of examples there of what they've done. They have got 7 meeting rooms. You can see an example of one there. They're quite intimate, up to about 40 cabaret for the meeting space. You can use their restaurant for 150 cabaret though, so there is that flex, and I would suggest that's probably better for drinks receptions, so that then, because when you've got cabaret, it's like, well, where do all the people have their teas and coffees and lunches if you want that space that's just as big as that meeting room, then it's perhaps more suited for the smaller function areas. What I do like is to help with sustainability, if you put a sign up, I don't want, say you're there 2 or 3 days, I don't want you to clean my bedroom, they'll give you a drinks voucher, so that then just a little thank you. Or you don't have to take the voucher and you can just be like, well, I wouldn't normally have that at home, so that's fine. They also have a co-working space, so any of us could go in there tomorrow, whatever. You pay £5 and it's unlimited tea and coffee. So I think that was worth shouting about, because I like how they're trying to interact and engage and get the community in as well. So then it's how do you keep your little black book up to date when contacts are moving all the time. So networking, of course, going to networking events. I'm sure a lot of you do all of this already, and that's why you're here. See if you can get a list of attendees beforehand. So when you're going to showcases and things, and there's going to be a lot of hotels and venues there, see if you can get a list of all those that are going there. And likewise, they may be getting a list of who's attending from the PA world as well. So you want to be up to date with their information just as much as they want to be up to date of your information. Then if you miss anybody, it doesn't matter, you've got their details anyway. Exhibitions, obviously you're all here, so you know this goes without saying. So they do take place obviously most months. There's lots going on around the country. I do webinars and I do blogs about them as well, so even on my social media there's like a little calendar of the next 3 that are coming up, and I do that every month. So there's various places to find out what's going on and you know why you should go to them as well. My clicker has just stopped working. Have you turned me off? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Don't know what happened there. Then you've got obviously public networking groups like the Delegate Wranglers. They have a stand here today. Does anybody know of the Delegate Wranglers already? A couple of people. Yeah, a few nods there. So all make your own group as well. We're all part of lots of different WhatsApp groups and things like that. There's no harm in starting your own group, and before you know it, you're all going to showcases together and being invited as a group, which makes it much easier to tour some of these venues. Sometimes. A lot of the industry news that I use is the M&IT, the MIA, the C&IT, CVent and Boutique Hotelier as well. So they are a great tool. Obviously if you sign up you're getting their newsletters, but you can scan them nice and quickly, then click into any of those. Like there's a new venue there. So this is all about just keeping up to date with new venues, new contacts, because so many people are moving around all the time. It can be quite tricky. So then if you are at an exhibition like this, and obviously you're getting scanned all the time, so people are supposed to be sending you the follow-up from the exhibition stands afterwards. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen, and sometimes that's the one that you were really relying on to send you that information. So I do always recommend that you ask them for their business card if you don't do that already, and at least then you can contact that person when you're ready to do that, rather than waiting for that follow-up to come. And if you get in touch with them literally in the next couple of days, obviously you're getting first of the queue before they send the general email that goes out to everybody anyway. Obviously use an Excel spreadsheet to keep it all up to date if you're a more old school, or HubSpot. So I use HubSpot as a CRM. There are lots of other CRMs available, and I do mention HubSpot only because it's free for the basic use, which just for data collection. You can even have the app on your phone. You scan someone's business card, it puts it all in there for you. So for me, it's the easiest way to keep up to date with some of this information, and you can attach companies to it. It automatically does all that. As long as there's an email address, it bang, 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 puts it all in there from this card. So that's what I would recommend. So I can tell you a bit more where to find any more free information. How would you tell? Oh, that's great, nearly 20 past. Does anybody have any questions about any of the London venues, perhaps anything that I've put up there already, or any general information about perhaps finding venues, or as I said, anything on the slides up there already? Sorry, hang on, there is a mic, which should be on, hopefully. Are we on? Yeah, sorry.
Do you have some business cards?
I do have some business cards, yeah. Actually, I've got a pile of business cards here, so if anybody wants to... you can do, yeah. Tell you what. There we go, thank you very much. Anybody got any other questions? Anything you want to know about any of the venues that I mentioned already, or any more information about perhaps anything I haven't mentioned on there already? Sorry, yes.
Thank you for that, it was so informative. I just want to know more about Boutique.
hotels
Boutique
in
hotels,
London.
yeah.
And also you mentioned there's a few that's not, that's for small groups, because sometimes we are very small groups, and when we go to Peninsula we get lost in the whole.
Sorry, say that again.
But it's more smaller venues,
Yeah.
like Uncommon or something that's unusual, out of the way.
Something that's unusual
Yeah.
and out of the way.
In London, but
Yeah.
it's not part of the big hubbub.
Yes, yeah. So actually, going over to sort of over towards Canary Wharf Way, and you've got the Good Hotel, for example. That's a Whoopsie. Are you all right there? So yeah, you've got the Good Hotel, which is a customs house actually. So near the Excel. Near the Excel Centre. You've got, it's a very sustainable venue. It has got conference rooms there as well and lots of bedrooms, and it gets people working there who perhaps need a bit of a step up as well. So it's very inclusive property, and yeah, so that's an individual one that might be a bit sort of out the way, a bit more for some people, very boutique, it's got its own, and it's on the river as well actually. So that's one, for example. That's also next to the Sunbourne Hotel, which is more corporates, if you like. That's a yacht that's always on the river there. So yeah, there's another one as well, also out in that way. Any other questions? No? Excellent. Well, I've sped through that. Let me just go on to the next area piece, which is about getting more information. So I do webinars, so I do 3 a year. This was the last one. I put them all up on the website. So this was September's. So you can go on the website, watch it. I recommend you speed up the speed of how fast it's going, so that you can just get to the sections that you like. The different sections are update on the latest venue availability trends and planning for this time of year. So that's more about data, so percentage of people booking certain areas, and what's going on in the industry there, what are budgets like, that kind of thing. It's a bit more crunching the numbers. Update on the next quarter and into 2025 was September, so it's like, what does next year look like? What's availability look like? I think next year, definitely, prices are still going up. People's budgets aren't going up in correlation to the rates that are rising. So it's like, how do we work out how to get that difference smaller, and how are we a bit more creative and going into negotiation. So I go in a bit more depth with things like that. That's obviously quite a bit of an overview here today. Industry exhibitions updates. So there's always a slide there of all the exhibitions throughout the year. So there's 12 months of exhibitions there. For people to get information from, and hotels and venues visited plus new openings. So then a little sort of snapshot similar to what you've had today. So that's the next 3 dates for the webinars next year. If you go on the website, you can sign up to the January one already. And then there's also free blogs. Obviously, blogs are free. So I do a lot of those about what's going on in the industry. So I've just done one for the Christmas party guide. So that gives lots of tips about getting your budget right. There's 3 or 4 venues there with the latest offers for this Christmas as well. It just so happens that I was talking about the CHS show, why to go. So I do that with some of the other exhibitions as well. CHS show have always been really supportive with the things that I've done, so that's why I always mention them. And then this is, I have a whole page about London venues on the website. So it's just a snapshot again of when a new venue's coming up. It doesn't have them all, obviously. It's probably once a month I'll update it, just to give a bit of a snapshot. Again, you've got ones like the Emery, which is next to, it's part of the Mayborn Group in Knightsbridge. It has one function space, which they don't even talk about on their own website, but when I went there and they talked to me about it. So it's getting all that information and me sort of somehow keeping it in one piece. And then I have another page all about the Park Lane venues as well. So all the hotels on Park Lane are on there and a bit of information. So then I just put a bit at the end about the venue finding. Some of you will book direct, some of you will have your own venue finder, but this I think is a good example of just making sure you've got all of this when you go to the venue. So you've got obviously budget, style of venue, approximate numbers, layout. Anywhere you may have held the event before or where you have started brainstorming internally is a massive help to venues, because they can see then where you're going, and as you're busy emailing this to everybody, that really does give them a base of, right, they've used that before, I know we can do it better than them because of X, Y, and Z, so they can perhaps bespoke that proposal to you. That's the kind of thing I do as a venue finder. Hotels don't always have time, but that's the kind of information I try to get from the clients I'm working with. So that's the end of our session. I forgot to point out the AV partner Lighthouse Events. There we are, over there. So they're also supporting this today. I mentioned ASM Global, who are the sponsors as well. And then that wraps the end of the session. So I've finished 5 minutes early. So there we are, gift of time again. I did that on the last session. So feel free to just stay for another 5 minutes with your headphones on, pretending that you're at work still, and have a bit of peace, or flood the floor, because it's quite a busy show. But thank you all for coming. I do appreciate it. I hope it's been helpful and informative to you. Thank you.